Thank you. Hi guys, good morning. I hope you've all had a nice long lie on this Sunday morning, hopefully. We're going to talk a bit today about, I've got returning to the pool, but kind of more about returning to competition and anxiety. I've just got there my name, my little Twitter and Instagram handle. I sometimes share vaguely helpful things, and then an email address there if you or mums and dads want to pop me any questions. I thought I would just start by kind of introducing myself, because you're maybe wondering who is this person that's talking to us today. So I've got my little athlete bio here. So this is actually my last week as a trainee sport and exercise psychologist. So I will be hopefully Dr. Zoe Black on Wednesday. Just so you've got a little bit of understanding, I was a swimmer. I swam with Mulgai and Bearsden. I then did my teaching, and I spent a lot of time teaching swimming while I qualified as a sport and exercise psychologist. So I've done some work in some different sports. I've done some in football with Ayr United, Glasgow Rocks, a basketball team, and the Southern Knights rugby, and I've recently joined the setup here at Scottish Swimming. So we're doing some workshops with you guys, and then we've got some later on with the National Academy. So I've got a bit of a background in swimming. I kind of understand it a little bit, and I've got a bit of an expertise in sport and exercise psychology. So that's just a little bit about me, and a quick kind of overview of, I've said the hour, it'll be about an hour. The session today, but it's going to be quite interactive. I don't really want to sit and talk at you and talk at a screen. I know that's not very fun. So hopefully if you guys can give a little bit back, the more you put in, the more you'll get out of it. But we're going to talk a bit about returning to the pool and more importantly, going back to competitions, our kind of hopes and any hesitations we might have about that. And then managing kind of our expectations. How can we make it easier, that return to competition for ourselves, and how can we help each other? And then we're going to talk a little bit about anxiety, just what it is. And I've got some tips and techniques that we can use if we're feeling a little bit anxious. But as I said, if you've got any questions throughout it, please feel free, put your hand up, unmute yourself, talk to me, that would be amazing. Alternatively, you can put it in the chat box for everyone to see, or if it's something that you don't really want everyone to see, you can message me directly in the chat box. So if you click down to the two, you just want to send it to Zoe Black, you can do that, and then I can share the question without anyone seeing who it is. And then at the end, we'll have some time for any questions that you might have or any kind of feedback. But I'll get going, unless, does anyone have any questions just now? Oh, there's Alan popping in to say hello and have fun. Thank you, Alan. Any other questions before we crack on? No, super. Okay. So we're going to start just with a little activity. I've got some questions for you. And if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to ask you to put a number between 1 and 10 in the chat box. So the first big question is, how have you found returning to the pool? And I'm going to ask you in terms of how excited have you been about returning to the pool? So if you've been really, really excited about returning to the pool, can you pop a 10 in the chat? If you've not been excited at all, you maybe want to put a 1 or a 0 in the chat, or somewhere in between. Oh, we've got some 10s and 8, 10, 10, 10. Oh, loads of 8s. Okay, lots of big scores. I think the lowest you've had is a 6. That's good. 7s, 8s, 9s. Lots of 10s. Okay, so we've been quite excited about it then. Does anyone want to say, oh, an 11 out of 10? I love it. Does anyone want to share why they've been excited to go back to the pool? It's been so long, yeah. To do what you love. It's been a while, yeah. Because you've had nothing to do, you've been pretty bored without swimming. To be able to swim again and see your teammates, yeah. Social interaction, yeah, it's where our friends are, isn't it, at the pool? It's been so long, and see teammates. And so better than land sessions, yes, I would agree. Social, seeing friends, a fresh start. Yeah, I love that. Stop the habits we may have picked up. Yes, that's a good point. We'll come back to that. It's been so long. Once to see your teammates, enjoy. Yeah. And can I just check, is everybody back in the pool? Is there anyone that's maybe not made it back yet? Yeah. Good. That's a good start. So we're all back. Everybody so far, excellent. And we've been pretty excited about it. So that's a good start, isn't it? Now I'm going to ask, how nervous have you been about going back to the pool? So again, 1 to 10. Oh, and there's a meet at Dundee next Sunday. That's good too. Yeah. If you've been super nervous about going back to the pool, if you want to put a 10, if you've not been nervous at all, a 1 or a 0. Oh, we've got a big mix already. We've got some 9s, we've got some 1s, we've got some 0s, 6, 5. Okay. A big mix here. Okay, so some people who have been quite nervous. Does anyone want to share why or what they've been nervous about? This is a tricky one. Not knowing how to swim anymore. I've definitely had that fear. Not being at the same fitness level. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? Fitness, yeah. Not being as good as you previously were and letting people down. Yeah, there's kind of 2 things in there, isn't there? Not being fit enough or at the same level. Because you've not seen people for a while. Yeah. I sometimes think I've forgotten how to talk to people. Joining a new squad, that, yeah, especially after lockdown, that'll be different, won't it? Not being able to keep up. A lot of things in there. Okay. And quite a lot of people saying the same kind of thing. So quite a lot of people are worried about their fitness. We're really a bit worried about not being able to keep up, meeting new people, not having seen people for a while. I've lost my mouse. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting that quite a lot of us are saying the same things. We might come back to that. Okay. What about the people who aren't nervous? Does anyone want to say why they've not been nervous? Are you just filled with too much excitement? Confident in your skill. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Anyone else? Oh, here we go. Just too excited. Yeah. Relax because you know you'll come back better. That's a good point. Yeah. You've been doing stuff in lockdown to keep your fitness up. That's a good point too. Too excited. Yeah. Because you're going back to the coaches you had before, so you know who you're going back to. That's a good point. That'll be helpful. Oh, great point here from Caitlin, because you know everybody's been in the same situation. And so everybody will be roughly doing the same kind of thing. Yeah, everybody's had this long time out the pool, haven't they? Too excited to do what you love, yes. Oh, nice, Molly. If you train hard, you know that you'll always get better. Yeah, some great points in there. So we've had some great sharing so far, and this is really good. So lots of us are nervous, lots of us are more excited than we're nervous. We know that everybody's kind of in the same situation. We're just excited to see our friends and swim again. Or some have still got that nerves about, well, it's been a while, hasn't it? Will I still be able to swim? Okay, so how do we feel about returning to competition? And I'm not going to do the numbers this time. I wonder if we could just put either some feeling words in the chat box, or if you could use an emoji to describe how you're feeling about going back to competitions. Nervous. Yeah. Excited and nervous. Scared. Yeah. Nervous and excited at the same time. Yeah. Oh, somebody's stomach's turning. Lots of nerves, lots of excitement. Yeah. Oh, I've got somebody that's relaxed. Nice. Okay, worried, scared. Yeah, okay. lots of excited and nervous, and I think that's a really important thing to remember, that we can be nervous and excited at the same time. Okay, we don't have to be one or the other, we can feel both those things. So that's really important to remember, that that is okay. You can be excited and nervous. I wonder if I could push you a little bit more. What are we nervous, excited, worried, scared about? Racing, yeah. Just racing again. Not being as good as we used to be, being slow, bad time. Yeah, oh, false start, disqualified, yeah. Oh, we've got some excited to get some new PBs. Yeah, what it feels like to be racing again, being poolside. Yeah, okay. Might not be able to make your old times. Yeah, doing something wrong. Okay. So it's interesting, lots of us, yeah, slower, lots of us are feeling the same thing, and we've all got the same worries, not getting better. Okay. Good. Okay. So what do we think it might look like going back to racing? Is it going to be the same? Are some things going to be different? We might not know for sure, but what do we think? It's going to be a little bit different with COVID restrictions. Yeah, it's going to be different. No spectators. Yeah. It's going to be a bit different. Yeah. Won't be as loud as usual. I think COVID might change things. Yeah. Social distancing, masks. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's going to be different. Okay. Yeah. People wearing masks. And I think this is a really important thing. It is going to be a little bit different for a little while. And the same as school, your family might not be watching yet. Same as school, it's going to be different. And so we want to try and make sure that we're aware of what it might be like, so that we're not surprised when we turn up. Yeah, it might be harder to socialize, and we're going to have these masks on at competitions. Okay. What do we think might be the same? What part of competition? Yeah, the racing is going to be the same. The swimming is going to be the same. Yeah, the racing. Take your marks, beep. Yep, that's not going to change. Swimming, yeah, you're still going to feel nervous the same as you did before. Oh, great point from Amber. Supportive teammates are going to be the same. Yeah, the actual race is going to be the same, except hopefully you'll be faster. Yeah, you'll still have timekeepers, you still have the team. Yeah, so there are going to be some things that are going to be the same. The racing's not going to change, the swimming's not going to change, the starters and that setup is not going to change. So hopefully if we can put our focus onto the swimming part of it, and we prepare ourselves for everything else, maybe being a little bit different, then we can keep focused and really smash out some new PBs. The disappointment and the success will be the same, yeah. Whether you're happy or sad or, as you said, disappointed or over the moon, is still going to be the same. Okay, super answers. Thank you, guys. Are there any other challenges that we might face going back to competition? So we've said a wee bit about the masks. We might have to social distance a little bit more. Might be a bit quieter. Is there anything else? Not getting PBs, yeah. A lot of people, past injuries, yeah. Not hitting your old times. Lots of important things there. Nerves, yeah. Having to get used to racing again. Oh, can you travel by minibus? I'm not sure. That's a good question. Yeah. Not swimming as well as we hoped. Okay. Yeah. Not hitting our old times, getting used to being around lots of people again. Those are kind of big ones. Not swimming as well as we hoped. There might be changes in how we get there. We might not be able to share lifts. Yeah, you might not be able to see all your friends that you used to see at competitions. We've got some challenges. Yep, definitely. Okay. Getting disqualified. Yeah, lots of things. What about the good things about racing? We're excited to race. Is there anything else exciting about competitions coming back? Excited to see what time we can get, medals, actually getting to race. Yeah, seeing other people, seeing your friends, just racing again. Oh, being proud of your teammates. That's the good one. PBs. Yeah, getting top threes, racing. The amazing feeling you get after a race. Yeah, the adrenaline, it's all pumping through you. Doing better than you expected. Yeah. Getting good times. Meeting people from other clubs. Yeah. The adrenaline. The competition snacks. Yes, that's a good one. Oh, I love it. Okay, so there are things we're nervous about. There's going to be challenges, but there's going to be lots of good things about going back to competitions again. Seeing if your training pays off. Yeah, we want to see what all this hard work is for. We want to smash those times, get those PBs, race against your friends, and feel that buzz of racing, because that's why we all do it, isn't it? We like the racing aspect of it. So we're going to have lots of emotions. We've talked about nerves, we've talked about excitement, we've talked about worry, being scared, being proud. And we want to think about, okay, how can we prepare for all these emotions that are going to come? Because we know we're going to face these challenges and we know these good things are going to happen. And it might be a bit of a roller coaster. So there might be that we might be really excited and then we might be really nervous. And if we can spend a bit of time just preparing and reminding ourselves that we're going to feel this way, we're going to go on this roller coaster, then we can be better prepared for it and we can swim better. So the first thing I've got up there is being realistic. So like we've just done there, and you've all been great at contributing there in the chat with me. There's going to be a whole host of feelings that are going to come up. There's going to be things that are hard. It's going to be different, but some things are going to be the same. And we don't want to kind of bury our head in the sand and pretend that it's going to be normal, because it is going to be different. So we have to be realistic and remember that, as I say, it's going to be different. It's going to be hard, especially going back to racing when it's been, maybe 2 years for some of us, nearly, since we've raced. It's maybe not going to be how we remember it. We might not be smashing out new PBs straight away. That is kind of number one. Let's be realistic. Number two there, I've got that our feelings are normal. So if you're feeling scared, that's okay. If you're feeling nervous, that's okay. If you are just over the moon, super excited, that's okay too. Everybody is going to feel different things at different times. And no matter what you feel, that is okay. And so it's really important that we can remind ourselves, I'm allowed to feel nervous just now because it's been 2 years since I've been at a race. And then what we want to do is we want to allow ourselves to be nervous. So sometimes when we get a feeling we don't like it, if we don't like being nervous, we don't like being scared, we try and squash it and pretend that we're not nervous. We might try and put on a big brave act and say, I'm not nervous, I'm not nervous, I'm not nervous. But really we are nervous. And I like to think of it as like if you've got a beach ball and you're trying to push a beach ball under the water. So you're trying to push those nerves down, you're trying to hide them. What happens when you let go of a beach ball under the water? Pops back up, doesn't it? So if we try and squash down those feelings too much, when we let go, it'll pop back up and those nerves will reappear. So we want to just give ourselves a little bit of time to say, okay, I'm nervous. I'm going to let myself be nervous for 10 minutes and just say that I'm nervous. And then after that, I'm going to move on and get ready for my race. Does that kind of make sense? Kind of. Yeah, I can see some nods. So we want to just allow ourselves, yep, in the chat, excellent. Allow ourselves a little bit of time to feel whatever we're feeling. And then we want to be able to focus on the race or the swim in front of us. The next point I've got there is if-then plans. And these are some of my favourite things that we can do. So we can actually prepare before race day and say, okay, if I feel nervous, then I am going to, and we can create a plan. And it might be, if I feel nervous, then I am going to talk to my coach and tell them that I feel nervous and ask them to give me a little confidence boost. It might be, if I feel scared, then I'm going to take 3 big deep breaths and then shake all the nerves out of me. It could be, if I feel too excited, I'm going to take 3 big deep breaths to calm down. So we can create these little plans with an if and a then statement. If this happens, then I'm going to do this. And that can be one way that we can get prepared for all the different emotions or feelings that we might feel. So what we'll do is, at the end of this session, I'm going to talk through some little techniques that we can use if we're feeling nervous, and we can bring those back and put those into our if-then plans. My next point is, can we better prepare ourselves physically? And I suppose this is a question that only you will know. So what could you do the night before a competition to make sure that you're really prepped? Could you do some extra stretching? Could you do a little warm up when you get out the car, some jumping jacks, a bit of skipping, something to get you really physically ready for it? Are you doing everything you can? Are you pushing yourself in training sessions and giving it the best you can so that you're ready for competitions? And as I say, you're the only person that can answer that. So it's worth asking yourself, okay, am I doing everything physically that I can to prepare for going back to competitions? That might also include things like, have I packed my bag the night before? Have I made sure that I've got all my snacks? I've got all my juice. I've got enough towels. I've got spare goggles. I've got a spare costume or spare trunks. So making sure that we're really physically prepared is one way to help us feel more organised and less nervous or less worried. And the next point I've got is seeing it as an opportunity. So I think it was Richard that pointed out in the beginning, this is a chance for you to start afresh. So there might have been some bad habits that we got into prior to lockdown. He just said, I normally do what I do, go to bed. I don't sleep well, but you close your eyes and visualize your race. Excellent point. That's a really good thing. We might come back and talk a little bit more about that. Thank you, Richard. So can we see this returning to the competitions as a chance to be better than we were before? So it is an opportunity to be faster. It is an opportunity to practice things that we've maybe weren't so good at before lockdown. It might be your starts, it might be your turns. This is an opportunity to come back and be better than you were before. Does that kind of make sense? Rather than a challenge, we want it to be an opportunity. Yeah. Excellent. And then the last point I've got said there is talk to each other. So just from this today, we've got how many? 54 people on it. And we've had loads of people saying that they're nervous or anxious or just a bit worried. So that means that if you're standing at competition and you're feeling a bit nervous, your teammate beside you is probably also feeling a bit nervous. And just by talking to each other and saying, are you a wee bit nervous? I'm a little bit nervous. That can help calm us down straight away and make us feel a bit more at ease. Realize that we're not in this by ourselves. Everybody is finding this a little bit difficult. And so let's support each other through it. I imagine, I don't know if we've got any coaches here today, but I imagine coaches are probably also feeling a little bit nervous about going back to competitions, because it's been a long time for them as well. And they're probably wondering, oh, what do we do at competitions? And they're probably doing the same thing that you are. So if we can be realistic, like we've done today, we've acknowledged that some things will be different, some things will be the same. Remember that we're going to have a whole host of different feelings. We're going to be excited, we're going to be nervous, and that's okay. And then we're going to give ourselves a little bit of time just to feel those feelings, and that be all right. In terms of preparation, we can create some little plans. If this happens, then this is what I'm going to do. We're going to make sure that we're physically prepared. We've done our stretches, we've done our warm-up, we've got our bags packed, we've got our snacks. And then we're going to view it as an opportunity and we're going to keep talking to each other about it. Does that sound okay? Does anyone have any questions on that? I take that silence as a no. Okay, excellent. So that's going to help us prepare for going back to competition. And now we're going to talk a little bit about anxiety. What do we think anxiety is? Again, if you want to put your hand up and talk, that's amazing. I might not actually be able to see hands. Just unmute yourself and chat. Or if you want to post it in the chat, that works too. A fright, yeah. You might be anxious when you get frightened. Nerves. Yeah. Worry, when you overthink things, yes. Worried, anxious, frightened. Feeling uneasy, yep. Oh, like your thoughts are crushing you. Yeah, I've definitely felt it like that before. Shaky, yeah, worried about a lot of things. You might be doubting yourself, worried, scared, overthinking. Yeah, I think they all sum up anxiety quite well. And I think even just those answers points out that we all feel anxiety differently. For some of us, it might just be feeling nervous or worried, or we might just be shaky. Or we might feel small in a really big space. Yeah, or we might feel like we're getting crushed. It is different for everybody. That's great answers. Thank you. Okay. So a little bit of a spiel from me now. Anxiety is a normal feeling. We usually get it when we're faced by something that is stressful or that we find is stressful. And when we feel anxious, what's happening is our brain is saying, okay, there's something happening just now, and this could be bad. And it wants that scary thing to go away because it's trying to look after us, it's trying to protect us. So it stops us from thinking about everything else. It makes us focus on that one thing that we think is going to be dangerous or could be bad. And it starts pumping more blood to our legs to help us run away from that scary thing. So that is why our heart starts racing when we feel a bit worried or anxious. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah. Yeah, excellent. So it's something normal. We all have it. And it's just our brain's way of trying to protect us. Is that a flight or fight? Yeah, exactly. Our fight or flight instinct. Or maybe sometimes freeze, that fight, flight, or freeze. So our heart starts racing. It's getting us ready to protect ourselves, get away from that danger. And sometimes we get a bit shaky because it's all the adrenaline that's going through us to try and protect us. We've said a little bit about this already. You guys have given me some good answers. Oh, excellent, Gillian. Can we use the feeling in a positive way? That's a great point. We'll maybe jump on that just now then. So anxiety, what does it feel like? What does anxiety feel like in your body? Horrible, yeah. It can't be nice. You might feel a bit sick, yeah. You might be shaking. You might feel a bit sick, yeah. Like you're falling and can't stop. Oh, sick, pressure. You get sweaty. Yeah, you get overwhelmed. Yeah, we might just want to cry. Sick, yeah. Lots of different things. Yeah, I've got some here, I think. Yeah, here we go. Panic, yeah. Sweaty. I get really sweaty when I'm anxious. You might just want to curl up in a ball, yeah, and hide from it maybe. Yeah, so we might get sweaty. Oh, where else have we got? Worried. Yeah, it's that worry, isn't it? We've spoken a lot about that. Feeling sick but not actually being sick. Yeah, great point. We might get those kind of butterflies in our tummy, and I wonder if that's the kind of feeling sick that we're thinking about. We've got that, oh, my tummy doesn't feel very good, and we feel sick, but we're not actually going to be sick. Our heart's racing. Weird and overwhelmed. Yeah, our heart is racing. We've got all those different things. Shaky, we've said about that. We might be shaking. We might be restless. We might just be trying to find different things to do with our hands. We might be jumping about. We might be doing lots of different things. And I wonder, what do you feel like when you're excited? Do any of these things that we've said about feeling nervous apply to being excited as well? Yeah, it can be similar. Some of them maybe, kind of the heart racing. My heart gets really fast when I'm excited. Yeah, the butterflies, we get the same butterflies in our tummy when we're excited as when we're anxious. Yes, but it's without the worry. Yep. The fidgeting, yeah, you can't sit still. We're super restless. Yeah. The same, but you feel better. Okay. So all the things that go on in our body, or most of them, when we're nervous, are the same things that go on when we're excited. So the big thing that's different is the thoughts that we're having in our head. So what we want to try and do is when we feel these things in our body, when we're restless, when our heart's racing, when we're shaky, we say, okay, am I nervous or am I excited? And like we said at the beginning, you can be both. We can be nervous and we can be excited. So what we want to try and do is focus on the excited bits. And we say, yep, I'm nervous, but I'm nervous because I'm going to race and I've not raced in a while. But I'm also really excited about that race. And we want to try and my words aren't coming out, remind ourselves of all the reasons that we're excited. And if we can focus on those excited things, then we can stay in this good place rather than in the worried place and stay in that excited mood. Does that kind of make sense? So by accepting those feelings and saying, yeah, I am nervous, but I'm excited too, and reminding ourselves of all those positive things, we can get ready to race without all the nerves and all the worry. Okay, I'm getting some yeses, good. Things that might make us feel nervous. We're talking about kind of competitions in swimming today, but it might not just be that. Big races or events, it might be a swimming race, it might be a running race, it might be a football match, it might be a talk at school, it could be anything. So these things that we're talking about today and strategies that we're using, we can use them at any time. It might be difficult conversations. I sometimes find if you have to have a hard conversation with a coach or a teacher or your mum or dad, that can make me quite nervous. Meeting new people, there's people going to new squads, having new coaches, that can be something that makes us feel nervous or anxious. Yeah. People watching us. Yeah, that's a big one for me. People watching me sometimes make me feel nervous. And then I think we spoke a little bit about not wanting to disappoint others, haven't we already? We don't want to let them down. Going against people that are just as good as you. Yeah, that's a good one. So it's going to be a tough competition is something that might make you feel nervous. Can anyone think of anything else?
I just like finding new competition to chase after.
Yeah, finding new competition. So somebody new to race. So that excites you, does it? I can't see who's talking. Yeah, we don't want to let our team down in relays. Yeah.
Hi, sorry I'm late. I was getting a PCR test.
That's okay. I hope you're okay. Don't worry. If you've missed too much or have any questions, I think there'll be a recording available for you to watch back. Okay. Hard exams at school, yeah, they make us nervous too. And so all the things that we're about to do and we've been talking about so far, we can use these in all these different things. But this is good news. If we know what makes us anxious, then we can prepare for it. So in the same way we've said that we're going to physically prepare for competition, we're going to create some if-then plans. If this happens, then I'm going to do this. We can do the same for anything else. And I think now, I'm just going to talk you through 4 little different techniques that you can use when you're feeling nervous to help you just calm down, get your heart rate slowed down, and kind of bring your brain back to what you want to be concentrating on. So as a lot of you said, when we're nervous, the hard bit is our thinking, and we're thinking about all the things that might go wrong or we're worried about. And what we want to do instead is focus on the swim in front of us or the exam that we might have. So these little techniques are going to help us. So what I'll do is I'll talk through them. You can have a go at each of them. You might like some, you might not like others. It is really important that you just figure out what works for you and what you like. Similar to any skill, same as swimming, we can do it once, but we want to try and practice it so we can be good at it, okay? So if you decide that you really like this box breathing thing, doing it today is great, But if we just then do it for the first time on competition day, it's not going to be as helpful as if we were practicing it when we need it more often. So if you find one that you like, we want to try and practice it, put it into our routine so that we're really good at it and we've nailed this skill. So the first one, box breathing. I don't know, has anyone ever heard of this before? Maybe, no? Oh, okay, it is super simple. Yes, Amber's heard of it. So we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. We're going to hold it for 4 seconds. We're going to breathe out for 4 seconds. And then we're going to hold that for 4 seconds. Okay. Yeah, some people have got it in school. Excellent. So we know box breathing. So it's a really good way to help us just stop, focus on what we're doing right now and slow our heart rate down. So if we all want to give it a try, I'll talk us through it. We're just going to breathe in for 4, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, and then hold it for 4. Okay. If we're super anxious, we might want to do that a couple of times, go through a couple of boxes. I know one of the other ones that I sometimes get taught in school, you do it with your fingers and you breathe in when you go up and then out when you go down, and you do each finger. That can be quite nice, and it feels quite nice on your hand as well. And if just counting while you're breathing is quite difficult, using your hands can be really helpful. So that is just one super simple technique that we can use to try and calm us down, but when we're feeling a bit anxious or worried, or even if we're feeling too excited. And it's one that I use all the time. Even before coming on here this morning, I had to remind myself to do a couple of box breaths to calm myself down. The next one we've got is called 5 senses. And all you're going to do is think of 5 things that you can see. So I can see a pen, I can see a window, I can see my phone, I can see a desk, and I can see a glass. I think that was 5. And then we're going to think of 4 things that you can touch. So I can touch the table, I can touch my hands, I can touch my glass, I can touch my computer. And then we're going to think of 3 things that you can hear. Oh, it's pretty quiet for me to do. I can hear the birds outside. I can hear the washing machine going in the background, and I can hear my own breathing. And then we're going to do 2 things that you can smell. I can smell the cup of coffee that I had before this session, and I can smell the air freshener in this room. And then 1 thing that you can taste. So I can taste the coffee. And what that does, so you've got your 5 senses, so 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can, have I done that right? 3 that you can hear, 2 that you can smell, and 1 that you can taste. And that just helps us come right back into this present moment. It takes us away from all our thoughts that are going up in our head, and it helps us concentrate on right now. So I wonder if you want to just take a minute and try that just now. Somebody can smell bacon because our family are making bacon and egg rolls without, oh my goodness, I hope they're saving you one. Yeah, so take a wee minute and just notice, okay, what can you touch? What can you see? What can you hear? What can you taste? What can you smell? And it doesn't really matter if you don't get them in the right order, or if you can't think of 5 things or 4 things, but we just want to be able to stop, bring ourselves into this moment, what's happening for me right now, and get ourselves out of our head and ready to focus on our swim. Oh, somebody can smell chemicals in the room. A cat crying, cat wants to join in. Oh, somebody's had pancakes, coffee, yeah. It's a good smell. You can hear the rain. Oh, it's not raining where I am. Maybe it'll come soon. Excellent. So that's another, again, activity that you can do. Nobody needs to know that you're doing that. If you're at a competition or in the changing rooms, you can stand and do that, and you can do it in your head, or you can say it out loud, or you can do it with your friends. It's super easy. We don't need anything to do it with us. Somebody can hear the Spice Girls. I like that. That's something that you can do to help you forget about your worries and focus on what's happening right now. So that's 2. We've got our box breathing and we've got our 5 senses. The next one, this one is a little bit more obvious. It is blowing on our thumb, which sounds really silly, but there is a scientific reason for if we just take our thumb and instead of sucking on it like a baby, we're just going to do one big blow. That is going to help our heart rate slow right down. It's a really cool one. If you've got a fancy watch that shows you your heart rate, you can see it on that. But if you want to just have a moment just now, blow on your thumb. We don't want to blow on it until we're out of air, but just a gentle, and that's just a really nice, easy way to soothe ourselves and slow our heart rate right down. That's maybe one that you don't want to be doing standing poolside. You might, I don't know, but you might be a bit more nervous about that, but you might do it in the changing rooms, you might do it in the bathroom, you could do it in the car on the way to a race. So that's a nice one. That's actually calmed me right down. And our last one is making lists. So you can make a list of anything. So instead of thinking about all the things we're worried about, we might make a list of our favorite songs, of our favorite colors, of our favorite foods to eat. And we're just distracting our brain away from the thoughts that have got us carried all the way up here. And we're bringing ourselves back down to this moment. So you might make a list of the things you can see, like we did with the senses. You might say, my favorite foods are pizza, pasta, strawberries, ice cream. And just in distracting ourselves. What I would say is if we're doing the make a list, maybe give yourself a number. So I'm going to list 5 foods that I like to eat, and that's going to take my brain to think about those nice things instead of thinking about all the things that could go wrong. So that's our 4 different activities. We've got our box breathing in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, and hold for 4. We've got our 5 senses, thinking of 5 things we can see, 4 things we can touch, 3 things we can hear, 2 we can smell, and 1 we can taste. We've got our good thumb blow, giving a big blow on our thumb. And then we've got making lists of 5. So making our lists of things that we like, or things that we enjoy, our favorite songs, our favorite movies, whatever it might be. So our kind of key points of things to take away from the session today, we're doing okay just for time. Talk to each other. We are all in the same situation. Everybody is going back to competitions and racing for the first time. We'll all be feeling the same things, maybe at different times, but we can help each other just by talking to each other. Secondly, anxiety or nerves are completely normal, but they are something that we can prepare for. So you might want to, after this session, go away and make some if-then plans. If I start to feel nervous, then I'm going to practice my box breathing, or it might be if I feel nervous, then I'm going to tell my coach, and together we might remember to do some box breathing or the 5 senses activity. And then lastly, we've got given you just 4 really super easy, simple techniques there that we can use to help us when we are nervous.